How you doing, Baggedmilk?
Doing very well. How you doing, boys?
Pretty good.
Good. We should probably start with what the hell happened on Sunday.
Yeah, it was ugly, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, like, this is maybe me just personally. I had that kind of scheduled as a loss anyway before the game even started. I mean, it's not very often that you have an NHL team that plays 5 games in a single week. Like, that was just a crazy heavy schedule for the Oilers last weekend. Not to make any excuses for them, but eventually it just looked, you got to run out of gas at some point, right? And to me, they just were making mistakes that a tired team would make. Plus, they weren't getting the saves to cover those up either. So it was just like A plus B equals C, and it was just a horrible time. It was
they had won the previous 4, right? I think
5.
Didn't they go
5
in
a row?
Yeah.
I think they went 5.
So you're not going to win them all.
No.
Yeah, you're not going to win them all.
Like, somebody please tell Calgary that.
Yeah, they're annoying. They just keep going right now, and it's driving me crazy.
Yeah, they're rolling right now. Well, this is going to be an interesting test for the Oilers because, and we kind of talked about this last week, where we're still a little bit, trepidatious about their success at this point, and that, they need a good test. They need to play a couple of decent teams to see where we're really
got
at.
it here.
And they
Well,
definitely have it. Yeah.
Lightning tonight, then the Panthers and the Hurricanes all on the road.
It's a gauntlet this week. Like, there's no easy games this week. There are no gimmies. And then even just on the, like, tonight's tough enough. Tampa's rested. They haven't played in a few days. So, they'll be ready to go. And then on the weekend, they play at 10:30 in the morning on Saturday and 11 in the morning on Sunday.
Sounds like a little brunch game, maybe.
a little brunch game, a couple of
mimosas.
Yeah. So it's just been a weird schedule lately, but it's tough sledding for the Oilers. And like you said, Locke, this is a major challenge. It's a measuring stick kind of week for the boys.
Who are you liking right now? Is there somebody in particular? Because I'm very impressed with Hyman. He seems to have his game back.
Yeah, Hyman's played very, very well. Even when he wasn't scoring, he does all the kinds of things that you want from him. He's got an engine that just kind of won't quit. So it's really nice to see that everything that people loved about him in Toronto is what he's brought over here. And you just know you're going to get a relentless work ethic from him. And I got to say, I also like Cody Ceci on the back end. I was very critical of the contract when he signed. I think still think it's a little bit too long, but he's played well. You got to give the guy credit for stepping up and kind of probably fighting above his weight class at times. And I think he's done a really good job. And I also think Woodcroft is kind of getting the best out of the boys right now. They look confident. They look like they're playing well. I mean, Sunday aside, of course, but they look like they're playing strong. They're playing confident. They're playing for each other. And the thing I noticed the most is, and maybe it's Evander Kane joining the mix because he likes to get into scrums and mix it up, but they're battling out there and they're fighting for each other and they're getting into piles and scrums after the whistle. And that's something new that the Oilers haven't had a whole lot of this season. And I really like it because you don't watch very many games around the NHL, and it's kind of like flag football where you don't touch each other,
I think the comments just before they let Tippett go stung the team in that a couple of sports donkeys were saying that they were a soft team, that they were easy to play against. And I think they took that to heart. And I agree with you. I think Kane brings that to his game and brought it to the bench for the Oilers. But I think it was more about what was being spoken, outside of the dressing room than what Kane did, in my opinion.
Nothing wrong with a chip on your shoulder either. If that's the case and the media is what got them going, then I'll take that, because they just look like they're playing a different style right now. They don't look nearly as easy to play against over the last 2 weeks.
Absolutely.
So February is coming to a close soon. Going to be in a March trade deadline. Of course, everyone talks about a goalie, but they're also talking about a defenseman that they might get. What do you think? Like Mark Giordano is a name I saw thrown out there.
Really?
Kind of interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the funny part about it is the Oilers looking for goaltending and defense is just kind of like an evergreen saying that we get every single year. But I think that the Oilers are in a tough spot because they are up against the cap. So there's going to be a lot of money in, money out kind of thing. So there's a couple of options, like Mark Giordano is out there. But I also, again, we talked about the Flames. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes right back there.
Wow.
Know what I mean? So there are guys like
the Flames have room? Do you know?
They got a little bit of room, but nothing
Okay.
crazy. It just seems like Brad for living down in Calgary finds ways to get these things done. Like even the Tyler Toffoli trade, they just added on a very good player in there, and it didn't seem like it really affected their lineup too much. They gave up pick. It was a big trade for them, but they didn't really give up too much. But back to the Oilers, there's guys like Nick Leddy who, he is winding down on his time with the Red Wings. Mark Pysyk is the guy that they've kicked tires on apparently. So I'd love to see a guy like Josh Manson come play for his dad from Anaheim, but I don't know how that's going to happen. I think that as much as I want big trades and big moves from the Oilers, I just don't know that they've got the space or the creativity to get it done. So I'm almost expecting a quiet trade deadline and hoping to be surprised.
Yeah, Kane kind of killed any chances there, right?
Yeah, he ate up what they had left. And the reality is, like, unless you can move a Koskinen or a Cassian or some of the bigger tickets that maybe aren't performing where you want them to, then I don't know what they can really do outside of.
And I know you don't like to hear this, Baggedmilk, but that Nuge conversation.
Nuge is playing well though right now.
He is playing well.
He's playing really well. So like he's money well spent as far as I'm concerned. He's still the third highest scoring forward on this team. So he's kind of doing what you want him to do.
You will always defend the Nuge.
Yeah, no matter what. Like eventually he'll, he could get brought up on charges for something. And I'll be right there taking the bullets for him.
There he is, Baggedmilk. Oilers Nation, thanks for your time today, brother.
Thank you.
The Locker Room.
Brought to you by Always Plumbing and Heating.
Weekday mornings on 95.7 Cruise FM.